Transitions. There we go. Chag Sameach, everybody.
Chag Sameach.
Today is Shavuot. You can stop counting. Today marks 50 days. For those who were counting, that the rest of your year you'll be multiplied 50-fold.
Amen. We will count it.
For those who didn't count, shame on you.
Sorry.
Get better next year. But as the commandment is, and we'll read it through the scriptures that we have gathered today for today's session, I guess you can say. Because today's not a teaching, today's a gathering as commanded. Particularly if you're a male and his boys.
Amen.
Today is going to be a great day. We're going to be reading the scripts. We're going to be diving into the word, reading while we're here today, the importance. I always love when we do extended Yahuwah weekends where we got Shabbats and the next day we got another thing. And we did Bible study on Friday. Like, yeah, some holy people. I like y'all.
Set apart.
So, with that being said, I'm excited to be here. I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. I watched the sun go up. I'm excited. So I hope you guys obviously are in the right spirits, as we'll read. That is actually one of the commandments. And I hope that this day you grow in love more with Yahuwah through His Word.
Amen.
Amen.
Also, thank you for the guests who are with us today.
Yes, happy to see them.
And we might have to pause later because we have some more guests coming. And we got babies, we got dogs, we got a little bit of everything.
It's good to see a full house.
Yes.
Amen.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Amen.
I'm happy to see you guys here. Today we're going to start with our traditional prayer just to bring in, how they say, the ambience. Yahuwah sefatai tiftach upi yagi tehilatecha b'shem Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen. Yahuwah, open my lips and my mouth may declare your praise. In the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen. Yiyu leratzom emrepi behegiyom lebi lefanecha. Yahuwah zori v'goali b'shem Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen.
Expressions of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart find favor before you, Yahuwah, my rock and my redeemer. In the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen.
וביום שמחתכם ובמועדיכם ובראשי קדשכם וכתתם בחצוצרות על אויתכם ועל סבכי שמכם וחיו לכם לזיכרון לפני אלוהיכם אני יהוה אלוהיכם.
Also in the day of your gladness and your appointed times and in the beginning of your months you shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your Elohim. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. I don't know why I thought that was like a Shavuot thing. I'm like, wait a second.
Who's going to blow the trumpet? Just cover the baby's ears.
Please, if this guy don't do it first.
You don't.
No, trumpets. We're doing right for that.
We're doing it first.
Hey.
Baruch atah Yahuwah Eloheinu melech haolam אשר קדישנו במצוותיו וציוונו על תקיעת חצוצרות. Amen. בשם יהושע המשיח. Amen. Blessed are you, Yahuwah Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and has commanded us regarding the blowing of the twin silver trumpets. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. 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 It is commanded every time that we gather, when we have large groupings and feasts, for us to blow the silver trumpets. It's not because we want to, it's commanded. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Amen.
Everybody please stand for the Shema.
Okay, stand for Shema.
You too now.
Face that.
Bueno.
It says all knees. He got 40. He got it. There you go.
Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad, Baruch Yahusha HaMashiach is Yahuwah. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Yahusha HaMashiach is Yahuwah. Amen. ואהבת את יהוה אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, וחיוך הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מספר היום על לבביך, ושננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלבתך בדרך, ובשביך ובקומך, וכתלתם לאות על ידיך, וחיו לא תצפות בין עיניך, וכתלתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישריך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And have these words which I command you this day to be upon your heart. And you shall teach them diligently to your children, and speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you retire, and when you arise. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and let them be frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Amen. Now the blessing of the Mashiach, followed by the blessing of the Kedushat Hashem, and then we can start.
Remain standing, please.
Everybody please remain standing. Let me get the...
Bella's looking at Nexus like, why isn't he standing up?
Be your height, lay down.
Baruch atah Yahuwah, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et derech hayahusha, b'Moshiach Yahusha. Amen. B'Shem Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen. Blessed are you, Yahuwah Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us the way of salvation in Mashiach Yahusha. Amen. Who has given us the Torah, which is Mashiach.
Manifested.
Amen. Kedushat Hashem Yahuwah.
Amen.
Sanctification of the name of the Lord.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יחלוך סלח כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה יהוה האל הקדוש. You are set apart and your name is set apart and set apart ones praise you every day forever. For you are Yahuwah, the great and set apart King. Amen. You may be seated. Now today was that great day that Moses came down from the mount and gave us our first of the 613 commandments.
Casual.
Casual.
Well, he came down with the 10.
Yeah.
He came down with the stories of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. Oh, sorry. The stories in Genesis, the creation story, the time before his. It's a big day.
Yeah.
All that went on a tablet.
Jubilees. He gave you Jubilees. He gave you Bereshit. Oh my goodness. We're going to go to Exodus 20 and we're going to see those words that were spoken of on this day.
Okay. Exodus 20 or Shavuot 20. Everyone should know this one, but since y'all forget.
Mm-hmm.
And the word of Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, who has brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the Bait, or the household of bondage. You shall have no other Elohim before my face. You shall make to you, you shall not make to you any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the Shaim, or the heavens, above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the Ma'im under the earth, the water on the earth.
Now we need to understand that he's talking to a crowd that came from Egypt. They forgot everything that was taught to them by their fathers. This is a lot of this is not new. A lot of this is stuff that's forgotten. So, this is him reminding him once more. There's no excuse. This is what you guys should be doing going forward. This is what you were supposed to be doing from the jump. So this is like a not just a reminder. Not all of it. They didn't know all of it, but not just a reminder. But now he's gonna establish his brit between him and you. If you do this, then you're my people. If you don't do this, I'm gonna cut you off. It's that simple. It's a marriage. This is my contract to you. Do you accept? If you don't accept, keep it pushing. But don't ask me, when you die and you come back, don't ask me, why am I not allowed to live in the paradise? Why am I not allowed to live in the new world? Because I already told you what you need to be doing. And if you're doing this and you don't repent, guess where you're going? You're going to cease to exist. It's that simple.
That's Exodus 19, the marriage contract. Verse 5. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them. For I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. I am a zealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the Avot, the forefathers, upon the children to the third and fourth generation of those that hate me. And showing Rahamim, or mercies, to thousands of them that love me, and shomer my mitzvot, guard my commandments. 7. You should not bring the name of Yahuwah your Elohim to vain emptiness. Not vain vanity, vain to emptiness. There's a reason. For Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless, nor clean the one that brings his name to vain emptiness.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, like the Jews teach, that's wrong. You can say his name. Vain emptiness is attributing things that are not to him.
And it's funny when we did Enoch's Brit Milah, the fellow Jew that was doing it,
Rabbi Seif.
I was every time that I said Yahuwah's name, I kind of looked at him to see what he would do, but he was cool about it. But a lot of Jews, when you use Yahuwah's name, they frown upon that.
It's an offense.
Oh yeah, especially from them thinking that you are not a Jew. So to them, not only you're saying his name, but you're a dirty rag. Why would you even say his name?
You're unfit. So, remember, don't make it common, as Elder Christians say.
That's right.
Verse 8. Remember the Yom HaShabbat, to shomer them as kadosh. Remember the day of Shabbat, to guard them as set apart. This is why every Chag is also regarded as a Shabbat. So, if you want to get practice for the Hags, keep the Shabbat. Verse 9. 6 yamim, 6 days, shall you labor and do all your work. But the 7th yom is the Shabbat of Yahuwah your Elohim. In it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, your male servant, your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger, nor a convert that is within your gates. Or as some Bibles say, your sojourner. But I like the word convert better.
Yeah.
Verse 11.
I don't have convert here. I like that.
Because, if someone's keeping the Torah with you and they're a guest, they're interested. For in 6 yamim, 6 days, Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th yom. Therefore, Yahuwah blessed the Shabbat day and set it apart. I don't like the way that reads. Verse 12. Honor your Abba and your Ima. Honor your mother and father, that your days may be long upon the land that Yahuwah your Elohim gives you. That's the first commandment with a promise.
Facts.
So, if you want to live long, respect your parents. Both the physical and the spiritual.
Amen.
13. You shall not murder. This is not killing. This is murder. 14. You shall not commit adultery. This is both carnally and spiritually. 15. You should not steal. Self-explanatory. You should not bear false witness against your neighbor. You guys know what false witnesses are, correct?
Yes.
Go ahead, Tony. What's false witness?
False witness is like when you like a fake lie about something.
Perfect. So you're getting your P's and Q's. I like you. 17. You should not covet your neighbor's household or ba'id. You should not covet your neighbor's isha, which is wife, or his male aved, servant, or his female aved, servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is in your neighbor's. So
You should not envy, okay?
I like that. Good.
What you can do, if you like something, work for it.
Correct. You can aspire for something.
Earn it. Earn it. Don't envy it.
Correct. There's nothing wrong with being inspired by someone, but don't get to the point where you start to covet it.
So then you start stealing.
Correct. 18. And all the people saw the thundering, the lightning, and the noise of the shofar, and the mountain, the har, smoking. And when the people saw it, they moved back and stood at a distance.
Now, I read this morning. I was looking at a Shavuot service from. It's a group that's called Unlearn the Lies. I like them. They're pretty cool. And they were talking about Shavuot. And in this verse, the rabbis, and he quoted, he doesn't believe in the rabbis, but he said he likes that. In this particular verse, it said that the people saw the thundering and the lightning. And when Shavuot happened, and when Pentecost happened, after Yahusha, it says that the rabbis say that when this thundering is Yahuwah speaking in 70 voices. Okay? So when he was saying, when this thundering was talking, he was talking to the whole world in all sorts of languages. Okay? Now, it's funny that they say that because they don't believe in the New Testament.
Big facts.
So this was written prior to all this, but it's funny how in the New Testament, in Pentecost, he allows everybody to speak in all these languages. So it's a good analogy.
This is in the book of Acts.
Yeah, in the book of Acts, which we're going to read later. It's a great analogy. So, of course, these people were scared. Of course, these people, they don't understand. And they hear this thunder.
Isn't that in Psalms as well?
I think so.
I think there's a song that says that Yahuwah's voice is like
a thunder.
I've heard of something.
I like the lion's roar.
And like 1,000 waters too.
Yeah, a
Correct.
1,000 Russian waters.
Even better.
Yeah.
1,000
It
Russian
sounds similar when it's like
It's
huge
voices.
scream, it sounds like thunder. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go to Riptide real quick.
So
Alex Jones' voice.
when I read that, I was like, you know what? Wow, that's a good analogy.
They know more than they know.
They know more than they know.
Or that on better said. Verse 19. And they, being the people, said to Moshe, you speak with us, and we will listen. But let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. Think about that.
This is when Nando says a lot of times that Moshe is Yahusha to the people. He really is. They declared him a Moshiach. They said, let you speak to us. Practically, you intercede for us.
First intercessor.
Yeah,
He was the first intercessor. So when Nando says that he's the first, yeah, right.
At least for me.
Not for you, for the people.
Because I know some people say no. There's an argument for no. Because of the teva.
in a way.
That's why my argument is with Moshe. All the point being is that every generation has one. Moshe was this generation. The next one was Ben Nun, which is his right hand man at this point.
Nice.
Oh, left hand man, because I don't understand that. And Moshe, verse 20, said to the people, fear not, for Elohim has come to test you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that you sin not. I keep telling you guys, you can be scared. Don't act in it though. That's the sin. But you can be scared. Life is scary. Think about what's going on. They're in front of a mountain that 24 hours ago was not doing anything crazy. Now, 24 hours later, it looks like a volcano went off. And you see clouds and you see voices from the heavens. Again, these are people who just escaped Pharaoh. They've been eating bread and water. Like, this is not a normal day. This is not Tuesday. So, to be shocked is normal. We're humans. 21. And the people stood far off, and Moshe drew near to the thick darkness where Elohim was. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, this shall you say to the children of Israel, you have seen that I have talked with you from the heavens. Damn, what honor. 23. You shall not make besides me an Elohim of silver, a Lord. Neither shall you make for yourselves Elohim of gold. An altar of earth you shall make for me. and shall sacrifice there your burnt offerings and your shalom or peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come to you and I will bless you.
So it's not just the synagogues.
Facts.
It's not just the churches. In any place, he can choose whatever place. So when a lot of people say, "Oh, but we don't have a temple anymore," you got to be very careful when you say we don't have a temple anymore, because Yahuwah could come to any place and make that place kadosh.
2 or more gather in my name, he is there. And this is why you see in the Genesis account, all our forefathers, oh, Yahuwah told me to go here, let me build a little stone altar and make a sacrifice. And from that day on, that place is called blah, 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 because Yahuwah saw me there. There's 1,001 places like that. Continuing on, verse 25. 25. And if you will make me an altar of stone, you shall not build it of cut stone. For if you lift your tool upon it, you have polluted it. Neither shall you go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness be not discovered on it. So again, all these platforms you see in some of these places, tell them to burn it down.
Amen.
Keep it simple.
This was
This
what
is-
was handed down.
we just finished reading Exodus or Shavuot 20. Now we're going to jump over to Leviticus, which is the next book over. Vayikra, the way. Leviticus 23, which is a chapter you guys should have highlighted, to be honest. And we're going to read verses 15 through 22, as Elimelech has highlighted here. I like that this has it.
This was the one we just read.
I like that it has this reference. No, not the study note. It actually has like which part.
Yeah, which
It's LXX. I like
correct.
that. That's actually a dope little.
Mhm.
Because sometimes I'd be like, where the
Yeah, what do you?
How you get that?
Where do we get this from?
who mans this? Who guarded him? He got 40. Game 16. Am I reading this one? You're reading.
No, you can.
Okay. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Perfect. Leviticus or Vayikra 23, starting in 15, goes as follows. Yeah, I got you. You good, Donya? Perfect. Okay. And you shall count from the next Yom, the next day, after the Shabbat, capitalized, from the Yom, the day that you brought the Omer of the wave offering, 7 full weeks to Shavuot. So 7 times 7 is 49. The next day makes 50. Yahuwah's good at math. Verse 16. Until the next Yom, after the last weekly Shabbat, you shall have numbered 50 Yamins, 50 days. And you shall offer a new grain offering to Yahuwah. The New Yansons did a great job. They actually have a new grain offering made from scratch. You guys will see it later. 17. You shall bring out of your dwellings 2 waved loaves of 2/10 of an ephah, which is a measurement. That shall be of fine flour. That shall be baked with chametz, which is a leavening agent. They are the bikurim, or the first fruits, to Yahuwah. And you shall offer with the lechem, the bread, 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bull, and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering to Yahuwah, with their grain offering and their drink offering, even an offering made of fire, of sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. This is the part that we're trying to work on.
23, what you are right now.
We just finished reading 18.
23.
That's the part we're trying to work on. We got this year. We got the bread and the drinks. Next year we're trying to get bread, the drinks, and maybe a lamb. And then the year after that, some every so on and so forth.
So we need to understand that when Yahuwah says you shall, he's not suggesting. He's telling you. So you say you shall do this, you shall do that. He's not. It's like, okay, I'm giving you permission to do this, but this is what I want you to do.
Yeah.
So it's anytime he says shall, it's a commandment. He's commanding you to do something, but we choose to do otherwise. We wanna have a choice.
Ain't no choice.
And of course, we love choices, but he's giving you a choice as a commandment. You must do this. Of course, we don't have 7 bulls. We don't have 7 rams.
No.
But you do have bread.
No,
you
no.
do have flour.
We don't have it because we don't choose to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
We don't have land.
I tell you right now,
You ever made it over?
There's people who do it,
Mhm.
but they don't go on vacation that year because this
Mhm.
stuff is expensive. I don't know if y'all have seen the prices for 7 lambs. That's like three G's, but you can do it because we find the money to go on a cruise.
Mhm.
So something that we're working on. Trust you me. We have fallen short this year, but we're looking for grace next year.
And if you can't do 7, so the point is
Dueling.
no, and that's the whole point. The point is that we always want to nitpick and want to stray away because we can't do certain things. But what you can do, why don't you? What you can do, why don't you? Why do you totally? Oh, because Yahuwah said it's got to be 7. So if we do 6, we're breaking the commandment. Well, 6 is what we got. And then you want to say with the same mouth, oh, you know, Yahuwah sees my heart. He sees the intention. What was your intention?
Yep.
If your intention was to at least do 5, you did 5. At least you didn't do 0.
You're better than you were last year.
So everything is about doing better, growing. A tree grows every year. It doesn't go stagnant.
And if it does go stagnant, you cut it off because you gotta let the other guys grow. 19. Then you shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering. This we don't do anymore. And 2 male lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. That we do. Why do we do a sin offering? Because you have Yahusha. He already died for the payment for the sin offerings.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. What happened to him?
Didn't he die for our sin?
Yes, the remission of sin is Yahusha's ultimate gift to us, day in, day out.
He
For all
died.
the sins that happened yesterday, tomorrow,
Correct.
and today. 20. And the Kohen shall wave them with a lechem. The Kohen shall wave them with the lechem of the bikurim, the first fruits, for a wave offering before Yahuwah with the 2 lambs. They shall be kadosh to Yahuwah for the Kohen. They shall be set apart to Yahuwah for the priest.
Amen.
And you shall proclaim on the same Yom day that it may be a mikra kodesh to you, a set apart gathering or a special convocation. I know you want to use the English. You shall do no laborious work on it. It shall be a hook leolam vayed in all your dwellings. It should be an ordinance forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. So this does not stop.
Continuous.
It just doesn't stop.
That's
22. And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not harvest the corners of your field when you reap. Neither shall you gather any gleaning of your harvest. You shall leave them to the poor and to the stranger. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim.
That's one verse that when I tell people that they're like rejecting a little bit of the Torah and stuff, when I tell them that one verse, that seems to really get them interested for some reason. Because they usually feel like, I really don't even know. They felt like that's very nice of Yahweh to have that rule in there. And I'm like, you guys should have expected something like that. They always feel like that, oh, what does he say about poor people or something? I'm like, there's a lot of good things in there. And then I bring that verse to them and then they're like, whoa, I didn't know about that.
You're always going to have poor in the land. And Yahuwah says that if he feeds the birds,
But you.
what about you? But he finds provision. People think that Yahuwah is like this magical thing, like he's a magician. That everything is done in order.
Yeah.
Nothing happens out of nothing.
Correct.
So he uses us as vessels to get his work across.
Right.
Everything in order. Nothing comes out of the blue. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, isn't he
Right.
like, wait, he's like, I don't know.
It's okay.
Okay.
When it comes back to you.
Yeah.
Exodus 19?
Yes. We are.
Oh, why didn't you read 19 before?
El 22, yo creo que no.
We're just gonna do
No, ya terminaron ese capítulo.
just 19.
Okay. We read 20 before.
Yeah.
So going back to Shemot, chapter 19. So this is my dad jumped the gun. He talked about the wedding agreement that Israel signed, verbally, of course, but there was no paperwork back then. But it lasted for generations.
Exodus 19.
Yes. This chapter should also be completely highlighted. Yeah, if you want, just start now. Start highlighting. You don't have it. The whole thing is important.
Yeah.
If you want copy and paste, put it on a note sheet. Put it on your express sheet. Think about it when you go take a shower. This is one of the Tovah chapters in the Old Covenant. Oh, excuse me, the First Covenant. Because everyone always say, "Oh, I heard it been said many times, marriage is dead." and I say, depending on your pretense, if your marriage is based on lust and money and acquisition, then yes, marriage is dead, 100%. But if your marriage is based on the same way the marriage here is, which is exchange of values, an exchange of what I can do for you and what you can do for me, marriage will never die. The institution of marriage will never die. Because if the Most High did it, that means it's worth doing.
On this chapter, we asked all the men to separate themselves for 3 days before Shavuot.
Yes. That's why when Wednesday's Bible study I said from Thursday on.
Before the Torah was given, Yahuwah asked Moshe to do the same thing. Separate yourselves for 3 days. And there's many reasons why. But the biggest reason is that he wants to make sure that you 100% not get defiled. 100% you're not going to be defiled. If you sleep with your woman and she may have nidah that day, you're going to be defiled. He doesn't want you to be defiled. You need to be pure, got to come clean. And
Physically and spiritually.
yeah, correctly. Chapter 19.
Exodus 19. And the third Kodesh, the third month, when the children of Israel had gone forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, which is Egypt in some translations, the same Yom, the same day, they came into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had camped in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before the mount. And Moshe, verse 3, went up to Elohim and Yahuwah. Ooh, I like this translation. I like that. Called to him out of the mountain, saying, this shall you say to Beit Yaakov, or the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, you have seen what I did to the Mitzrayim, and how I bore you on eagle's wings, and brought you out to myself. Therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and shomer my bread, guard my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure, a weird treasure, to me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a mahut of Kohanim, a kingdom of priests, and a kadosh nation, set apart nation. These are the words that you shall speak to the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the Zechanim,
The elders.
elders of the people, and set before them all these words that Yahuwah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahuwah has spoken, we will do. And Moshe returned the words of the people to Yahuwah.
There's an order. So the elders, every elder has a group of people, and everybody follows what the elder says. The elder says it to the people relay the message, and then the elders come back to Moshe. So when they say all the people say yes, all the elders came back and told Moshe yes, the people say yes, we do. That's the marriage agreement.
As a representative. So you want to see where you get the exchanging of vows?
That's crazy that Yahuwah had 2 layers of intercessors. It was Moshe and the Zechanim, and then El Pueblo.
You need witnesses. If it's just Moshe,
Damn, that's crazy.
you
too.
need
The
witnesses.
2 intercessors are the witnesses. for
2
the
witnesses.
Pueblo. Wow.
You need witnesses.
And that carries out even those who don't believe. You go to City Hall right now and get a marriage certificate.
You need 2 witnesses. Where do you think they get this from?
It wasn't just random. Again, everything has a source. We just gotta find it.
Todo está como tejido,
Yeah.
Intertwined.
mamanto.
Amen.
There you go.
Verse.
And verse 7. No, I just read 7. Verse 8. We finished. Sorry, I'm tripping. 7 and 8 will be read. Verse 9. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, see, I come to you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you. Leolam Ved, forever. This is why I say Moshe became Yahuwah. And Moshe told the words of the people to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, go to the people and set them apart today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. And be ready by the 3rd Yom, the 3rd day, For on the third Yom, Yahuwah will come down in the sight of all the people upon Har Sinai, the mountain of Sinai. And you shall set borders for the people all around, saying, be careful, that you go not up into the mountain, or touch the border of it. Whoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. You hear that next one?
So it's funny that Yahuwah makes a proposal. So this is how marriage works. I propose to you this. Do you accept? The wife now accepts and says, yes, I accept. But there's still no consummation yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you want to be my wife, okay, now I'm going to bring you the rules. Set yourself apart. Shower, get yourself clean.
Wash your clothes.
For the next 3 days. Now we're going to consummate the marriage with this contract. How cool is that?
Like setting ground rules first.
You got to set the ground rules. This is the way it is. Do you love me? Yeah. Do you think that we're gonna be together? Yes. Okay. These are my rules. Okay.
No, you laugh, but like I was lucky enough to have an Erozim where I have ground rules in my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So before I got married, I was already married with my terms and conditions.
Terms of agreement.
Yeah. So there's certain things that no matter how my wife Nora feels, you said yes 2 times in front of your family, my family, and the witnesses. So you can't say I didn't tell you. It's written down in stone. So I think that everyone should do that, to be honest.
Absolutely.
If they can, I think everyone should do it. And if you've been married, then I guess figure it out. But those who have not married yet, or maybe want to renew their vows, which I think is told every 7 years anyways, I encourage you, because it holds you accountable. The same way if you guys read scripture together, I'm not holding you accountable to your word. I'm holding you accountable to what you said. So forget about how you feel. What did you tell me when you told me you want to be cemented with me? So, as they say, a remembrance. Verse 12. And you shall set the borders for the people all around, saying, be careful that you not go up into the mount or touch the border of it. Whoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. 13. There shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. Whether it be beast or man, they shall not live. When the shofar sounds long, they shall come near the mount.
The mountain this is where Yahuwah's presence lies.
The Shekinah.
So no beast, nothing can touch this. This is holy. This is holy ground. So you're still, even though you're still clean, you're not clean. You still have sin. You cannot touch this. One person could, Moshe.
And Joshua.
Sacerdote, ¿no, verdad?
And Joshua.
Yeah,
He
even he stayed
Yeah.
in the bottom.
Él era un
El
ungido
ungido, que nada más él podía entrar
al tabernáculo.
al tabernáculo, que si estaba mal
No
o
puede
con algo, lo mataba ahí mismo.
And look how how humbling it is. This is not the first time that Moshe touches holy ground.
No.
The
Yeah.
first time was during the burning bush. He told them, remove your sandals. So this man is the reason why, which is the book that, which is one of the canonical books that says that that Hasatan wanted to take Moshe's body. Where did we read
It's
that?
Joshua.
No, I think it was in I think it was in Yovel. Was it Yovel? I gotta ask Amate, but I read that. I was like, whoa! Hasatan wanted Moshe's body
Who would
for himself.
Yeah, the meekest man to walk the earth. Who would
I gotta find out.
But the sister made a great point. She brought up the comparison later on, obviously, with the mobile shulchan, which is the mobile tabernacle. Only the high priest of that year, which granted in the wilderness it was always Aaron and his sons Eleazar and I forgot the boy's name, but the 2 sons of Aaron. The entering into the presence of Yahuwah is arguably the most nerve-wracking thing ever, because one fault, like she said, is the difference between making it to the next moment or being dropped dead. Not because you did anything wrong, it's because you came incorrect.
Le ponían alrededor la campana
Yes, around their waist they have bells.
para saber si no lo mató Dios ahí.
pomegranate bells.
Correct. So if the person was dead, they would drop to the ground. You would hear the bells.
Clink, clink, clink.
Yeah.
And then they'll
Then
put them
you
with the rope.
pull you with a rope out.
There you go. So again, it's one of those things where it's an honor, or it could be a curse depending
Yeah.
where you are. Take care of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And Moshe went down, verse 14, from the mount to the people, and set apart the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, "Be ready for the third yom. Approach not your wives in intimacy."
There you go.
And it came to pass on the third yom in the morning that there was thunder and lightning and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the shofar exceedingly loud, so that all the people that were in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with Elohim, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. And Har Sinai was altogether in smoke. Think about that. A whole mountain covered in smoke. Ultimate hot box. Because Yahuwah descended upon it in fire, and the smoke of it ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount shook greatly. A whole earthquake. And when the voice of the shofar sounded long and became louder and louder, Moshe spoke, and Elohim answered him by a voice. And Yahuwah came down upon Har Sinai on the top of the mount, and Yahuwah called Moshe up to the top of the mount, and Moshe went up.
Wow.
And Yahuwah said to Moshe, "Go down and warn the people, lest they break through to Yahuwah to see, and many of them perish."
Reread this 21. Check this out.
And Yahuwah said to Moshe, "Go down and warn the people, lest they break through to Yahuwah to see, and many of them perish."
So
Not all of them.
it's not even to who do you think they're gonna see at this point in time?
Yahusha.
They're gonna see Yahusha. You couldn't even see Yahusha at this time.
Unless you were one of the lucky elect.
Because he wasn't human he was never human at all, but there he was like a
Manifestation.
He was still just a manifestation. He didn't have his human body.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
vessel was not yet prepared.
It was totally pure. Well, he was totally pure.
Sí, porque Moisés bajó de ahí como
White as snow.
gold, ajá.
White as snow.
Now
glow, así que
it says
con
that
cabello blanco.
in Revelation it says that Yahusha is gonna shine like he was in a furnace in a fire. What was this mountain in right now? Didn't they say that it was in fire and smoke was arising?
Like a furnace.
And why do you think Moshe came down the same?
That boy had that Shekinah on him.
Amazing.
I like that it says, though, many of them. It doesn't say all of them will perish. I mean, there were some told brothers in there.
Okay. Well, you know what it is. Fortunately, you think you're doing the right thing,
And you're not.
but when Yahuwah says for you not to do something, no matter how good you think it is, He says don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
22. Let the Kohanim also, the priests, who come near to Yahuwah, set themselves apart, lest Yahuwah break forth upon them. That makes sense. The Kohanim would be.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. I'll leave us. And Moshe said to Yahuwah, "The people cannot come up to Har Sinai, for you warned us, saying, set borders around the mount and set it apart."
See how smart Moshe is? He said, but wait, Yahuwah,
You told
me that they can't come. You told me to set borders. Now you want them to come? So he's kind of testing Yahuwah at the same time.
He said, "My guy." 24. And Yahuwah said to him, "Away, get down, and you shall come up. You and Aharon with you. But let not the Kohanim and the people break through to come up to Yahuwah, lest he break forth upon them." So Moshe went down to the people and spoke to them.
But it's funny that Yahuwah says his name.
Yeah.
Again, he goes, and Yahuwah said to him, and then at the last where he says, let them through to come up to Yahuwah. So it's Yahuwah saying, don't let them come up to Yahusha, but he doesn't tell them Yahusha yet. How crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
I'm telling you, man. It's
If you don't see Yahusha in the Old Testament, I don't know what you're seeing.
I mean, you just don't want to.
The last verse is 25, right?
No, I already
Moshe went up to the people and spoke to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we're jumping over. Well, Yeah, we jump over to the book of Acts, or the Acts of the Apostles. We're going to reach the entire chapter 2, it looks like.
Correct. Acts chapter 2.
¿Ah? El libro de
Acts.
Hechos. Yohanan Moshe. Esther. He probably don't like Ruth either.
No, no.
I'm out there just deleting all the books. I'm surprised he hasn't said I'm Old Testament only. That's what I'm waiting for. Nah, I'm messing up. But I understand his concerns. Not having the name of Yahuwah is a big red flag.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that. ¿Dónde está?
I'll help you. I'll do chapter 2. Because we got a lot of reading in those.
No one's Genesis.
Yeah, because that's part of the parsha.
Mark said, only I rebuke that.
Huh?
He said, I rebuke
said,
that.
only I rebuke that.
How you heard that, Matthew? Take a picture for him. I don't know. Someone take a picture of his mama. Amate, I don't want you to get a picture. You're Old Testament only, anyways. The head cover is only New Testament. You don't believe in
Said mole.
that.
Acts chapter 2.
Hechos. Next. That's you too. Come on, man.
And when the feast of Shavuot was fully counted by the Omer, they were all in one accord in one place.
Amazing.
And suddenly there came a sound from the heavens as of a groaning ruach spirit, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared to them divided tongues like as of a fire, and it sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, or the Holy Spirit, and began to speak with other tongues as the Ruach HaKodesh gave them utterance. And there were dwelling at Yerushalayim Yahudim, Jews, devout men out of every nation under the heavens. Now, when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confused, because every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, See, are not all those who speak Galileans? How then do we hear them speaking in our own native language? Parthians and Medes and Elamites and those Israelites dwelling in Aram, among whom were Jews, or Yahudim, and those from Cappadocia, those from Pontus, and also Asia Minor. Phrygia and Pamphylia in Mitzrayim, Egypt, and in the part of Libya near Cyrene, and Yahudim and Gerim, strangers, from Romia, along with the Yireh Yahuwah. Cretans and Arabians, we do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of Eloha. And they were all amazed and stunned, and were in doubt, saying one to another, What does this mean? Others mocking said, These men are full of new wine. But Kepha, standing up with the 11, lifted up his voice and said to them, You men of Yehuda, and all you that are staying at Jerusalem, be this known to you, and listen to my words. For these men are not drunk, as you suppose, seeing it is but 9 o'clock in the morning. But this is that which was spoken by the Navi Yoel. And Yoel's prophecy, that's in Yoel 2, chapter 2, from 28 to 32. If you guys want to see which prophecy was talking about.
Mhm.
And it shall come to pass in the Yamim Acharanim, says Yahuwah, I will pour out from my Ruach, the Spirit, upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my Avadim, my servant, and my female servant, I will pour out in those days from my Ruach, and they shall prophesy. So, male and female will prophesy as they do in this day. And I will show wonders in the heavens above and signs in the world beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of Yahuwah comes.
No, there you go.
The day of Yahuwah.
Why are you adding words?
And it shall come to pass that whoever shall call on the name of the Master Yahuwah shall be saved. Very important.
Big facts.
You men of Israel, listen to the words. Yahusha of Nazareth, a man approved of Yahuwah among you by
Miracles.
miracles and wonders and signs, which Yahuwah did through him in the midst of you. And you yourselves also know. Him being delivered by the determined counsel and foreknowledge of Yahuwah, you have taken, and by the hand of toreless men you have impaled and killed. Whom Yahuwah has raised up, having demolished the cords of death, because it was not possible for Sheol to hold them.
Big facts.
For David spoke concerning him, I saw my Yahuwah always before my face, for he is on my right hand, that I should not be removed.
26.
Therefore did my heart have Gilah, rejoice, and my tongue have Simcha.
Joy.
Moreover, also my body shall rest in Tikva,
Hope.
because you will not leave my being in Sheol, neither will you allow the Kadosh One, the Holy One of Israel, to see corruption. You have made known to me the ways of life. You have made me full of joy with your presence. Men and Israelite brothers, let me freely speak to you of the patriarch David. For he is both dead and buried, and his tomb is with us to this very day. Being a Navi, this
Prophet.
is speaking about David, being a Navi, and knowing that Yahuwah had sworn with an oath to him, that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he would raise up the Moshiach to sit on his throne.
The line of David.
He seeing this before, spoke of the resurrection of the Mashiach, that his being was not left in Sheol, neither did his flesh see corruption. This Yahusha has Yahuwah raised up, of which we all are witnesses.
Amen.
Therefore, being as the right hand of Yahuwah exalted, and having received from Abba the promise of Ruach HaKodesh, Holy Spirit, he has sent out all this, which you now see and hear. For David is not ascended into the heavens, but he said himself, the Master Yahuwah said to my master, sit at my right hand, until I make your enemies your footstool. Therefore, let all Beit Yisrael know, all the house of Israel know, assuredly, that the Master Yahuwah has made known that the same Yahusha whom you have impaled as both King and Messiah. Now, when they heard this, they were pierced in their levavot,
Their hearts.
and said to Kepha and to the rest of the Shlichim,
Apostles.
men and Israelite brothers, what shall we do? Then Kepha said to them, Shuv, turn, and be immersed every one of you in the name of the Master Yah, Yahusha HaMashiach, for the forgiveness of sins, and you shall receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. For the promises to you and to your children, and to all that are far off, even as many as Yahuwah our Eloha shall call.
Amen.
Shall call. And with many other words did he testify and exhort them, saying, Save yourselves from the sinful generation. Then they that gladly received his word were immersed. And the same day there were added to them about 3,000 beings.
It's a lot of water.
And this is why we said the other day that some people like to put barriers to other people. Oh, you can't be this until you do X, Y, and Z. What did they do here? They just accepted that Mashiach was the Savior.
And they show initiative. What can we do?
Why are we putting chains on people and say you have everything comes along? We didn't start from day one where we are now. This is all progressive, little by little, little by little. And these people, that's how they start, little by little, little by little.
It's a hell of a conversion day.
Oh, yeah.
3,000 people in a day?
Woof.
A lot of hugs and kisses. 42 the last one.
Verse 42. And they continue steadfastly in the Shlichim's Torah and Havorah, and in breaking of bread, and in the Tefillah prayers. So they were actively engaging in Havorah, in breaking bread, and in prayers.
One of the biggest Bible studies you ever seen in history of Bible studies.
Oh.
Amen. We jump back to Genesis.
Yes. So yesterday, if you guys are keeping up with the Parsha, I don't know who is. Yesterday was the end of Parsha, week number 11. I think we're in week number 12. Week number 12 now. But if you've been keeping up with the Parshas, the last week's Parsha had everything to do with Joseph
Of Egypt.
and
One of many colors, the coat of many colors.
correct.
That very same brother.
The way his brothers sold him, because the only reason why they did what they did was because of one thing he said. Yahuwah gave him a dream, and he told them that dream. Mind you, at that point in time, he's the youngest, because his oldest son Benjamin hadn't been born. His youngest brother hadn't been born yet, and he told his brothers and his dad.
Who was the patriarch?
And his dad, he said, I had a dream that all you were bound down to me. Okay? At the same time, he was Rachel's only son.
Correct.
Remember, he loved Rachel. Remember how we read in the previous chapters what he did for Rachel. He did so much for Rachel.
Yaakov for Rachel, not Joseph.
Right.
So
did so much for Rachel.
favorite wife's first son.
It was Rachel and Leah.
Rachel and Leah.
And then Behi and Zipha. But Rachel was the favorite.
And once she gave birth, remember, he was working for this girl.
7 years.
You know?
Yeah,
And
then, yeah, he got. He's like, I'm working another 7 years for her, bro. Come on, please.
Stop playing.
and she wasn't bearing children. Now that she bore this child, he loves this child. Was this his favorite? I don't know. Are you supposed to have favorites? I don't know. But, you know. So now now all the brothers, they're upset that he's like the favorite. And now he comes and says, you know, you guys are going to bow down to me. I saw it in a dream. So they go, they're upset, and they sell him off. And they tell their father that he was killed
By an animal.
by an animal.
They used fake
They
lamb blood to
exalted
get.
themselves over him, and then Yahuwah exalted them over them. I mean, exalted the brother.
I'm giving you a recap. You guys should have been reading this. Now, I wanted to read this chapter.
Chapters.
Well, I want to read this first chapter yesterday, but we were doing that, so I decided we're going to do it for today. It belongs in last week.
Talk about 43 or
Chapter 43.
Oh. When he gets sold off as a slave and he ends up in Egypt, he goes to jail. And in his time in jail, he keeps the faith, obviously. And Yahuwah sees him in jail, and then he puts people in the side, and little by little, he ends up being the second in command and becomes a governor or the king under Pharaoh in Egypt. And he becomes a very powerful man. Marries a woman, has 2 children as well. So he's self-made, as they say at this point. But he never stops following Yahuwah, even though his circumstances were less than ideal.
Well, it shows you that Yahuwah can use you and put you through different trials, put you through a whole different world, and his purpose will be established.
Correct.
Now that was his purpose. Now, as wicked as what the brothers did to him, that was still Yahuwah's will.
Correct.
At the end of the day, it's wicked what they did. But Yahuwah didn't force them to do it. Remember, Yahuwah's outside of time. He saw this happening, took the opportunity to establish his point. Now, Joseph's gift was the interpretation of dreams.
Yes.
And this is where the Pharaoh had a dream. Pharaoh had this dream, and nobody could interpret his dream.
None of the court wizards, none of the soothsayers, all the evil spirits.
While he was in jail,
Joseph.
while Joseph was in jail, the butcher, not the butcher,
A former chef.
a former, I think it was a former chef or some, I can't remember what. A baker. The baker was in jail because I think he did something for something. He messed up, and somehow, some way, he went back up through the favor of Joseph. Joseph helped him out. He got out. He remembered because he had he interpreted the dream
of the baker.
for the baker and
The guard.
for a guard.
Correct.
And now he remembered later on
The baker remembered Joseph.
when Pharaoh had this dream and nobody could interpret. He said, "Oh, I know this dude that interpreted our dreams, and they came out true. He even said that I was going to come back to you."
He's in a dungeon. Go
Okay.
get him.
So now fast forward to all this happening. He interpreted the dream to Pharaoh, what was going to happen with the 7 years of famine, and the 7 years of good prosperity, 7 years of famine. And now we're going to fast forward to the brothers coming to him,
Well, going to Egypt.
not knowing that was his brother, because he was
He looked
fully
like
shaven.
he looked like an Egyptian.
He was a
scripture
full-blown
says.
Egyptian. All right, so now we're going to get...
So right before this chapter, Joseph had just completed his project of collecting all the food and building up grain storages. And then obviously, Egypt was the only place to have food in all the land. So that's how they got sent. So Yaakov at this point is old. This is well into the future now.
And Benjamin is born already.
Benjamin or Beomi, because his name got changed. Benomi was his real name.
Benjamin, son of days.
Yeah, the sorrow of my days. He changed it to the
Son of days?
son of days. Yeah.
I've always got confused about what that really means, the son of days. But
Son of my days. He was the son.
His old
Benjamin.
age.
He,
Old age.
Old age.
but remember, after she gave birth to Benjamin, she passed away.
Yeah, Rachel died in labor.
So that's why he's son of my days.
Well, originally his name was Ben Omi, which was the pain of the day, son of my sorrow. But he didn't want that for his son.
Correct.
So he changed his name to spare his son that with truth.
Yeah.
It's
That's good. Wise decision, I think.
one of the few times changed, like from the get.
We're gonna speed read through here.
Sorry.
No, dude.
I'm gonna do 43 now. You do 44.
44 Matt, go ahead.
Okay. Bereshit, chapter 43.
Genesis.
And the famine was severe in the land. And it came to pass when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought up out of Mitzrayim, their Abba said to them, "Go again, buy us a little more food."
This is Yaakov speaking to his now 11 sons about the situation.
10. He didn't let his little one go.
Oh yeah, but he's talking to the boys.
And Yehuda spoke to him, saying, "The man did solemnly warn us, saying, 'You shall not see my face, except your brother is with you. If you will send our brother with us, we will go down and buy you food. But if you will not send him, we will not go down. For that man said to us, you shall not see my face, except your brother is with you.'"
That man being Joseph.
Joseph.
But they didn't know that.
And Israel said, why did you, and look, it says Israel, not Yaakov. Remember, his name was.
Oh, yeah.
And Israel said, why did you deal so badly with me, so as to tell the man whether you had another brother? And they said, Bling, bling.
It's like you-
That's not what the man said.
That definitely.
It's not me.
And you-
It's one of the friends here. I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. Continue.
In Israel's, verse 7. And they said, the men asked us persistently of our state and our mishpachah, saying, is your Abba yet alive? Have you another brother? And we answer him according to these words. How could have we known that he would say, bring your brother down? And Yehuda said to Israel his Abba, send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and you, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shall you require him. If I bring him not to you, and set him again before you, then let me hear the blame. Let me bear the blame, leolam va'ed. For if we have not lingered, surely by now we would have returned the second time. Because he didn't want to send them off. And their Abba Yisrael said to them, if it must be so, now do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down a present to the man. A little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand. It could have been a mistake, because Joseph, when they went back the first time, he put the money back in their bags. Correct. This the second time. Take also your brother and arise. Go again to the man. And El Shaddai give you rachamim before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin, because he has his brother captive still.
Correct.
And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up, and went down to Mitzrayim, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his bayit, bring these men home, and make a slaughtering, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the men did as Joseph asked, and the men brought the men into Joseph's bayit. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's bayit. And they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks for the first time, and we brought it in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for avadim and our donkeys. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's bayit, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we indeed came down the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and see, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight. And we have brought it again in your hand. In our hand. And other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, Shalom be to you. Fear not. Your Elohim and the Elohim of your Abba has given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Shimeon out to them.
That was a brother he had captive.
Yep. And the men brought the men, and the men brought the men into Joseph's bayit, and gave them water. And they washed their feet, and he gave their donkeys fodder. And they made ready the present for Joseph's coming at noon, for they heard that they should eat lechem there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present that was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth.
There's a dream.
And he asked them of their welfare, and said, is your Abba well? The old man of whom you spoke, is he yet alive? And they answered, your Aved our Abba is in tov health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his Ima's son, and said, is this your younger brother, about whom you spoke to me? And he said, Elohim give you unmerited favor, my son. And Joseph hurried, for his emotions did yearn for his brother, for he sought somewhere to weep. And he entered into his room and wept there. He hadn't seen his brother. He didn't know he had a brother.
Correct.
So he started.
And that's his only brother from his mother.
His only brother from his mother.
Who's not dead.
And he washed his face and went out and restrained himself and said, serve the food. And they set the shulchan, the table, for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Mitzrim by themselves, because the Mitzrim do not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination to the Egyptians. And they sat before him, the Bahor according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled at one another. And he took and sent portions to them from before him, But Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as any of theirs. And they drank and had simcha with him. His compassion was for his brother.
Big facts.
Okay. 44. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, you got the moment.
And he commanded the steward of his bayit, saying, fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their donkeys. And when they had gone out of the city, not that far off, Joseph said to the steward, rise up, follow the men, and when you overtake them, say to them, why have you rewarded evil for good? Is not this the cup? Is not this the cup, the one from which my master drinks, and by which he divines? You have done evil in so doing. And he overtook them, and he spoke to them these same words. And they said to him, why says my master these words? Elohim forbid that your avadim should do according to this thing. Sorry.
See the money which we found in our sacks' mouths, we brought again to you out of the land of Canaan. Why then shall we steal out of your master's household this silver or gold? With whoever of your servants is it found, let him die, and we will also be my master's servant. And he said, now also let it be according to your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and you shall be blameless.
That's how sure he was that his men don't steal.
There you go. And then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground and opened every man his sack. And he searched and began at the elders and stopped at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. That's a problem. And then they tore their clothes and loaded every man his donkey and returned to the city. And Yehuda and his brothers came to Joseph's bayit, for he was still there, and they fell before him to the ground. And Joseph said to them, what deed is there that you have done? Did you not know that such a man as I can certainly divine? Why do I feel like the guy who said to smack Yehusha and be like, tell me who smacked you? Like, I feel like there's like that same energy.
He set him up good because just for a recap, he already knew he wanted to set his little brother up.
Yeah.
So that
This is a real party.
Yeah.
He just kind of messed up. That's what it is. Trying to get back from the slavery thing. And Yehuda said to him, verse 16, what shall we say to my master? What shall we speak? AKA, we know we messed up. Or how shall we clear ourselves? Elohim has found out the iniquity of your avadim, your servants. See, we are my master's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found. And he said, Elohim forbid that I shall do so. But the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my aved. As for the rest of you, go on shalom to Yahweh. Go in peace, your father. Then Yehuda came near to him and said, O my master, please let your servant speak a word in my master's ear, and let not your anger burn against your servant, for you are even as Pharaoh. My master asked his servant, saying, have you an Abba or a brother? And we said to the master, we have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age. Answer your question, sir. And he alone is left of his mother, and his Abba loves him. I'm going to pause right here. That was 20. Hello. Shh. I received. No. It's okay. It's okay. You know. It's okay. Good boy.
21.
20. Yep.
And you did say to your avadim, bring him down to me, that I may set my eyes upon him. And we said to my master, the lad cannot leave his Abba, for if he should leave his Abba would die. And you did say to your avadim, except your youngest brother comes down with you, you shall see my face no more. And it came to pass when we came up to your Aved, my Abba, we told him the words of my master. And our Abba said, go again and buy us a little food. And we said, we cannot go down if our youngest brother will be with us. Then we will go down, for we may not see the man's face unless our youngest brother be with us. And your Aved, my Abba, said to us, you know that my wife bore me 2 sons. And the one went out from me, and I said, surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since.
This is Yosef. They thought Yosef was destroyed. Wiped out.
And this is him saying what his father's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take this one also from me, and mischief before him, You shall bring down my old age with sorrow to Sheol. You're going to kill me.
You're gonna die of depression.
Now therefore, when I come to your Eved, my Abba, and the lad is not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass when he sees that the lad is not with us, that he will die. And your Avadim shall bring down the old age of your Eved, your servant, our Abba, with sorrow to Sheol. For I, your Eved, became surety for the lad to my Abba, saying, if I bring him not again to you, then I shall bear the blame to my Abba forever. Now therefore, please, let your Eved stay, your servant stay, instead of the lad, as a servant to my master, and let the lad go up with his brothers.
Take me inside of him.
For how shall I go up to my Abba, that the lad be not with me? For then I will see the evil that will come on my Abba. And that was the end of
That's the end of 44.
Very briefly, what is your explanation or description of what Sheol is?
A resting place before judgment.
Is it a bad or good or neutral?
Neutral.
Resting place for all. Now, within Sheol, there's different chambers and compartments. The most favorable spot is Abraham's bosom.
Yeah.
So if you want to be in the best spot, that's the spot to be.
But if you die in sadness or depression, then you might be in another department of Sheol. Or it doesn't-
That I don't know.
That's up to Yahuwah.
I'll have to
Yeah.
talk to the guy who made that.
That's above our pay grade.
What's his number?
It's 1-800-TORAH. Then Joseph could not restrain himself,
45.
chapter 45. Then Joseph could not restrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, make every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept out loud. And the Mitrim and the Bayit of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Does my Abba still live? And his brothers could not answer him, for they were trembling at his presence. And Joseph said to his brothers, come near to me, please. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourself that you sold me here. For Elohim did send me before you to preserve life. Wow. Look how good he is. He could have been upset, which I'm pretty sure he was in jail.
Yeah.
Why did my brothers do this to me? But now that he sees
The purpose.
and now that he's saving them, now he sees the purpose that Yahuwah had for him. Verse 6.
Joseph,
And this is Tov. That's Tov. Because
Joseph,
we always talk about preserving life.
yeah, Joseph of Egypt is a perfect example of circumstances don't define the man.
Yeah.
The man defines the circumstances. You know, we all deal with crap at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
exactly.
But
How you adapt to it.
what you make of it and how you go about dealing with the processes,
Making lemonade out of lemons, like they say.
more than that, just being happy you got lemons. Forget about making juice and all that. And I think people forget that. Again, Joseph was blameless. Remember, he didn't do nothing wrong.
Nothing.
Yeah, or
So think about it, you did nothing wrong. You ended up being a slave in jail.
He was accused of pride.
That was his crime.
That was his crime.
Matis said there's 3 chambers to Sheol: righteous, wicked, and I think you misspelled martyr, or
Martyr?
M-A-Y-R-T.
Martyr.
I assume you
Those who
misspelled
die
martyr.
for the faith
Yeah.
or for the cause of the faith.
I mean, isn't that righteous?
I mean, martyr.
Yeah, you corrected himself.
So yeah, so if you want an example of someone who, I've heard it said by the Christians, Joseph is the closest you can get before you start getting to the apostles. Like, if you want to emulate someone's life that you can easily do it, be like Joseph.
he's a type of Yahusha in a way.
He
Like,
is.
archetype.
He is that type. He is the Moshe right there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you off.
No,
Verse
no,
6.
that's cool. Verse 6. For these 2 years have the famine. Also, that was the see. I didn't realize that was the second year of the famine.
That's why they need to get food.
That was the second, but wow. For these 2 years have the famine been in the land, and yet there are still 5 more years in which there shall be neither plowing nor harvest. And Elohim sent me before you to preserve for you remnant in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now, it was not you that sent me here, but Elohim. And he has made me an Abba to Pharaoh, and master of all his Bayit, and a ruler throughout all the land of Mitzrayim.
Correct.
Hurry and go up to my Abba and say to him, this says your son Yosef, Elohim has made me master of all Mitzrayim. Come down to me and do not delay. What a tough moment.
It's the fourth patriarch.
Go get my father. Tell him I'm alive.
And I'm the master of the greatest nation on earth.
Come, Dad, look, I'm the master.
I'm the president.
Kneel down.
Oh, he does.
And you shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near to me, you and your children, and your children's children, and your flocks, and your herds, and all that you have. And there I will nourish you, for there are still 5 years of famine, lest you and your household, and all that you have, come to poverty. And look, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brothers Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaks to you.
I'm going to pause there. This is a perfect example of why, well, we were just talking about this yesterday, about, there's a long conversation that needs to be had. I'm not going to have it today because today's not the appropriate setting. But there's a conversation to be had about the 11 brothers were not able to prepare for what was going to come. It's one brother prepared for the brothers. And he was able to save the brothers, obviously dad, and obviously the land in which he dwelt, which is Egypt.
Carried everybody.
Carried the whole team by himself. Now, granted, he had Yahuwah's blessing. But it speaks to a larger picture. At the end of the day, though he was one of the 12, because he was a brother at the end of the day, because of what Yahuwah made him do, he superseded them. So, not to start a conversation that's premature yet, but as we grow as a Havan Torah, we always said there should never be one guy at the top, but the more scriptures makes clear, you always need to have someone who has the final say. Always need counselship. Always need elders. You always need Yahuwah. But there's always one guy who, every generation has one guy. Yosef was this guy. Moshe was earlier. Ben-Nun, Noah. There's always one guy. Abraham. It's never a group of guys. It's the one guy and then his guys. So, just something to think about as the days progress.
More about prepping more than what you guys are thinking.
Yeah, no,
Not what you're thinking.
not your household. This is a broader conversation.
It's a really broad
Prep
conversation.
as Israel as a whole, or like a community.
Being ready in and out of season. That's the point.
Being ready for anything.
Because they were ready for a year. They had food for a year. And they ran out of food.
There was a second year.
And they have 5 more years. That's it. 13.
We are in 13. And you shall tell my Abba of all my tiferet in Mitzrayim,
No righteousness.
and of all that you have seen, and you shall hurry and bring my Abba down here. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brothers and wept upon them. And after that, his brothers talked with him. And the report was heard in Pharaoh's Bayit, saying, Joseph's brothers have come, and it pleased Pharaoh well and his Avadim.
This Pharaoh was told.
Well,
This Pharaoh was mad told.
if this is the king's right-hand man, and now he finds out that his brothers are here, well, of course, this guy has made me
Rich beyond rich.
imagine having his family around. His family got to be dope. Right?
That's how they
Think about it. And Pharaoh, it's like we're going to get blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings.
Or it could just be simple as, he's been good to me. I don't care what he does. Bring your whole crew.
convenience.
And Pharaoh, verse 17, and Pharaoh said to Joseph, say to your brothers, this do, load your beasts and go into the land of Canaan.
Wow.
And take your Abba and your households and come to me. And I will give you the tove of the land of Mitzrayim, and you shall eat the fat of the land. Now you are commanded this do. Take wagons out of the land of Mitzrayim for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your Abba and come. Also, do not worry about your items, for the tove of all the land of Mitzrayim is now yours. Don't bring nothing.
I got you.
Just bring your family.
And your kids.
And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. You need to understand that Even though Joseph had power and everything, you still have to serve.
He was not the ultimate authority.
So he was the top of the creme of the creme, but on top of the creme of the creme,
Was the top G.
Person drinking the cup.
it's like a president of a school is not the one that's
Super
doing the day to day. You got the vice president is dealing with all the day to day.
Or principal.
The president is not doing nothing. He's just chilling. He's just saying he's just going after the toughest. Okay, we're gonna close Monday. You tell everybody what needs to do.
Yeah.
Which is
Everyone has their role.
it's an order. It's
Everyone
always
has
been
their
an order, and you can't break the order.
And that's why you have filing ranks.
That's why there's this order.
CEO.
No. I'm talking about like captains of tens,
Yeah.
like that. Like, there's always files and ranks. There's always files and ranks.
And the children, and where are we? Verse 21?
22.
22. To all of them he gave each man changes of clothing, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of clothing. Is that fair?
Doesn't have to be fair.
Is it fair?
That's up to him.
That exactly. Not your problem.
You
I
got
give
clothes.
to you what I want.
Yeah.
And this theme goes on. Benjamin gets blessed always more. So it's a thing.
The reason why is because he didn't have, I believe, he didn't have his brother's warmth, his brother's care for all these years. So now he's like, this is what should have been happening to you all this time. So that's why he
We're
gets a
playing
double
catch.
blessing.
We're playing catch up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was with my brothers all this time, and look what they did to me.
Also, there's also we have to remove this idea that
Equal,
yeah,
no equality.
there's Yahuwah doesn't treat everyone equal, but he treats everyone fair.
Facts,
That's the best way of saying it. That's the best way I can say it.
facts.
And that applies even in your household.
Yeah, that was like trying to.
Because I don't care what no one says. Everyone has a preference for something or someone. Be it because of life experiences or just, I bond more with this guy than that guy. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Verse 23. And to his Abba he sent the following: 10 donkeys loaded with the 12 things of Mizraim, and 10 female donkeys loaded with corn and bread and food for his Abba by the way. Hey, that is going to eat good.
Yo, we eat steak.
So he sent his brothers away, and they departed. And he said to them, see that you don't quarrel on the way.
Commandment. Don't fight.
And they went up to me. Why do you think he said, see that you don't quarrel on the way?
Because dad got this,
Think
Benjamin
about
got that.
See that you don't quarrel on the way. Don't give me problems. And Benjamin, make sure you hold down all your silver.
Yo, here's a strap.
Verse 26. And told them, saying, Joseph is...
You missed 25.
I'm sorry.
And they went up to the
And they
Mitzrayim.
went up to the Mitzrayim and came into the land of Canaan to Yaakov, their Abba, and told them, saying, Joseph is still alive, and he is governor over all the land of Mitzrayim. And Yaakov's heart fainted, for he believed them not.
Huh?
Oh, Amata. Oh, que no estén chismeando.
Yeah.
Let them not be gossiping
Yeah.
or busybodies.
Yeah.
And they told him all the words of Joseph that he had said to them. And when he saw the wagons that Joseph had sent to carry, the Ruach of Yaakov their Abba revived. And Yisrael said, it is enough. Joseph, my son, is still alive. I will go and see him before I die.
These people just, I gotta say, these old folks, they could just like, hey, yo, I'm good now.
Why was this important for me? Because
You died?
through calamities, Yahuwah works through calamities and always shows you a light at the end of the tunnel. It's for you to decide whether you want to go through the light or whether you want to stay in the tunnel. You choose. You decide. You decide whether you want to stay in the floor or you decide whether you want to get up. But Yahuwah gives you the way. Yahuwah doesn't close your door. When people tell you that Yahuwah closed the doors, it depends very much on what you're talking about. Because that door of salvation is open until you die. That door is there for you until the end. So if you fall, get up. A lot of people fall. Don't stay on the ground. Get up. Look at the brothers. The brothers fell. The
Messed up.
brothers in their mind sinned. Which not in their mind, the brothers sinned.
Physically.
Why? Not only because they did that, but they lied to their father. Right? So they lied to this father for years. They didn't tell their dad what happened. Years went by. Think about this. How many years went by? It had to be more than-
He was allowed and he was sold.
And
He was a husband with kids when they found him.
So think about that.
So let's just say at least
How you doing?
another 20 years.
Okay? Now, what we don't see here is what did Yaakov say to the brothers? We don't know that. We don't know what happened in their lives. What we do know is that he forgave them.
I mean, at the end of the day, a father's gonna be a father.
And Joseph said that you guys didn't do this. Yahuwah chose to do this. So it's like he's removing their sin and saying
He gave him forgiveness.
that was his forgiveness. But he also showed them a little lesson at the same time.
He gonna mess with him.
So you're gonna get your rebuke, but just
As-
my message to you is don't give up.
Today's a perfect example of Today's a perfect example of with the Torah comes the guidelines in which we should dictate ourselves. And I'll be the first to tell you, Torah has a lot of wow, that's hard. I'm gonna call them wow, that's hard moments. Not because the action or the doing is hard, but because when you start applying certain things, it's really inconvenient. I don't care what anyone says. I do not be deceived. It's inconvenient. Could we live in a world that's not built around Torah? So when I tell someone, yeah, I forgive you, even though I know it's like an 18th time they messed up, the world will tell you, hey, that's a toxic person, that's a waste of your time.
Yeah.
Don't bother. But if we carry that same mentality, what say you? When you on your bad days, your bad seasons, your bad years, are we gonna say, oh, Yahuwah gave up on you because you messed up 18 times and let you go? There's something that never fails to amaze me. Except for a handful of dudes in the scriptures, everyone is highlighted for their faults. And then their faults are strengthened. And I mentioned in Wednesday's Bible study about a definition that I've been working on in regards to humility, which is 100% dependence on Yahuwah. Anything you do that's not 100% dependent on Yahuwah, you're doing it for yourself.
Facts.
Be it for profit, for gain, for covetous reasons, you're doing it for yourself. We have to start truly acting as people that believe that what's written is true. I mean that in the little and in the lot. But I know the lot is hard sometimes. So at least start in the little. For me, it's beautiful that we have sons and fathers here. For me, it's beautiful that we have moms. We have weds. To me, it's a beautiful thing because this is proof that you keep the truth. Even in the little, Yahuwah will reward that. Because y'all could have been hanging out doing something else. It's Sunday at the end of the day. It's Roman Sunday. Everyone else is driving about, having martinis right now. You guys separated yourselves. You guys came up. You guys brought your offerings. You guys chose and volunteered to be here. Not against your will. I don't know. So, with that being said, remember these type of gatherings. Every day is a day unto Yahuwah. Not just Shavuot, Shabbat, set apart gatherings. Every day is unto Yahuwah. What happened to him? No, go ahead.
So, isn't every day Yahuwah's day because he created all the days?
That is 100% correct.
Yeah.
And this is why Yahusha says, don't stop the little ones from talking.
That's what we say by Shabbat guarding piety is exactly that. Shabbat guarding piety means treat every day as if every day was a Shabbat.
Yeah.
Because the only day that you, at least that I can see, the only day that you, at least whatever the highest percentage of any day that you want to keep Yahuwah in your mind is the Shabbat. You should do that every day. You should have the highest percentage every day. Every day, not just Shabbat. Because we believe that from Monday through, from Sunday through Friday, that all bets are off. And it shouldn't be like that. You should always have the same mindset of being a Shabbat guarding person. You don't think today of cursing or slandering or doing this, but on Monday comes, you know what, this, that, why? It's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. Think about it.
And we do it to ourselves.
One thing I was going to say before we go to the
Intermission.
last couple. I think it was Amante that put a video up today.
I'm not even a lot of videos time.
Yeah, he did. He put too many videos. But one that was pretty cool was a guy said that you have to feel special about being alive right now. At least us men. Not that you men, not that you women. But us men, our dad had a dad, had a dad, had a dad. You put it?
Yeah, that was me.
That was dope. A dad had a dad, had a dad, had a dad, had a dad, had a dad. You need to be
Grateful.
very grateful that your lineage is still alive. Because there are many people many lineages that are completely wiped out.
Dad died in battle. There was no sons. There you go. There was a bloodline.
Like my boy Kano, if he was to die, that's the end of his lineage.
So you have to feel very special. Very special that your lineage, you're still alive.
And your responsibility.
I like that. That was tough.
Yeah, I like
The message was something else. It had to do with warriors. You know, your dad was carrying a sword.
Pretty much, you should have no fear because the people that everything that led up to you now was fought through blood and tears.
At some point in your genealogy, somebody, one of you guys,
Fought in war,
fought in a war.
beat pestilence, overcame war, worldly calamities, famine, drought, and you over here scared to talk to a woman.
Yeah, yeah. That
Like,
was the
come on,
video.
bro.
And you were here talking, scared to talk to a woman. Like, why are you scared of?
Getting catfished.
There you go. So the message is very clear.
That was tough.
Yeah, it's a joke, but you know how it is.
We're gonna end this with we're gonna do one prayer, and then we're gonna do the Aaronic benediction, and we're gonna call it a day, at least from my part. I don't know if you got anything else.
I don't like nobody. Go ahead.
There you go. We're gonna do the which ones that we have here?
I don't know.
No, I had one. It's the one for Shavuot. The Kedushat Yom HaShavuot. It's the sanctification of the day of the Feast of Weeks.
Okay.
And it goes like this in Hebrew. None of you read this, man, in English.
Okay.
אתה בחרתנו מכל העמים, אהבת אותנו ורצון בנו ורומנו מכל הלשונות וקדשתנו ומצוותיך וקראתנו מעלינו לעבודתך ושמך הגדול והקדוש עלינו קראת.
You have chosen us from all the peoples. You have loved us and found favor in us. You have exalted us above all the tongues, and you have sanctified us with your commandments. You drew us close, our King, to your service and proclaimed your great and set-apart name upon us.
ועתית לנו יחוה אלוהינו באהבה, מועדים לשמחה, גאים וזמנים לששון, את יום חג השבועות הזה, זמנה תורתנו באהבה, מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים.
And you gave us, Yahuwah, our Elohim, with love and appointed festivals for gladness, festivals and times for joy, this day of Shavuot, the time of the giving of our Torah and the outpouring of the set-apart Ruach with love, as you began the restoration of both houses of Israel, a set-apart assembly, a memorial forever.
Amen.
Leolam Bed. Everyone say no.
Amen.
Face your loved ones if you have them. And tell them you love them. Next, do you want to move?
Everybody meet baby Hannah.
No.
There you go. Yeah.
You can't really see him, but
That's okay. Yiverecha Yahuwah beYishmerecha. Yahir Yahuwah panav elecha v'chunecha. Nisa Yahuwah panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Be'Hashem Yahusha HaMashiach Sar Shalom. Amen. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. In the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, Prince of Peace. Amen. Chag Shavuot Sameach.
I'll show you what's on there.